All right. Call the Westfield Board of Public Works and Safety meeting to order for September 26, 2018. First item up, let's note for the record, we have a presence of quorum.
We do have a quorum.
Thank you. Action item number 1 is consideration and approval of minutes from August 22nd, 2018. Having had an opportunity to review those minutes, are there any additions, corrections, or comments?
Make a motion to approve the minutes.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded to approve the minutes as written from August 22nd, 2018. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. Under contracts and agreements, action item number 2, Crossroads Church at Westfield installment payment agreement.
Okay, you can hold. No, go ahead. please.
Are you new here? Should you introduce yourself?
For the record, I am the new Director of Public Works, Jeremy Lawler. Been in office for 2.5 weeks.
Probation.
Welcome.
Yeah, so,
Probation.
Welcome, Jeremy.
thank you.
Been here for 2.5 weeks for a total of 12 years.
Yeah.
Okay. This is an agreement that was entered into some time ago, back when Kurt Waniger was the director of the department, had to do with the extension of sewer and water services. This contract provides for a repayment of a certain sum, which was called upon by the church to the city.
Town.
No, city. This
Was it
just
at that
happened about
time?
a year or two ago they've asked. It was entered
Oh,
into
that's
the
one.
town.
Yes.
And was it 2 years ago, Jeremy?
Probably.
Probably something like this. This is a negotiated payout and settlement that was negotiated between myself, their attorney, and of course Todd. Been recommended that you approve this.
And so the original agreement was for $223,000. Citizens came to the table and contributed like $60,000, and then Todd and the group negotiated a payment agreement, which is what we're asking for approval for today, to pay this over a 10-year period with an initial payment of $61,000. So in total, we're paying $162,000 over time to meet the requirements of agreement from 2007 that was unknown to any of us.
Right, do we have other agreements that are out there like this?
That we don't know about?
Right.
Probably.
Not that we know of.
That's-
So would this cause us to look and see if there are other
We
agreements?
did, and then
Okay.
through the utility transaction or sale, there was extensive searching done. This agreement in particular had never been acted on as far as payment because nothing had been built up there in that time frame. So it didn't rise to the top like the rest of them.
And it wasn't recorded.
And
There was no record of it.
Well, it wasn't recorded.
I've been through it. It is an obligation the town made to this church in '07. And we feel we need to honor it.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, I'll make a motion to approve action item number 2, Crossroads Church at Westfield installment payment agreement.
I will so move.
Motion made and seconded to approve action item number 2. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. On to action item number 3, Oak Ridge Point Road Impact Fee Credit Agreement.
This is I would call it typical road impact fee credit agreement associated with the Oak Ridge Point development, specifically located at on the southwest corner of Oak Ridge and 32. There's currently a bank under construction as well as some shops. The agreement is to credit impact fees for the construction of 175th Street, which is a requirement of our 32 overlay. So that is the frontage road that runs parallel to State Road 32.
Did we talk about this last month or 2 months ago? No?
I don't think
I
so.
don't think so.
It's possible you had heard talk of this. It's been an ongoing negotiation between Todd and the developer for a period of time. for this Exhibit B, it's particularly this section from here to 32 that's associated with this agreement. As this continues, there will be either amendments to the agreement, but ultimately this whole roadway from Oak Ridge to Dartown is creditable per statute.
Okay.
So essentially asking for your approval to enter into this agreement to credit the developer and/or future projects with the fees associated with this road.
Questions, discussion?
I will so move to approve this impact fee credit agreement, Oak Ridge Point Road.
Second.
A motion made and seconded to approve action item number 3, Oak Ridge Point Road Impact Fee Credit Agreement. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Action item number 4, the Trails Road Impact Fee Agreement.
This is the road on the opposite side of Oak Ridge, so this is 175th.
That's what you might have,
Yeah, that's, that must be it.
Yeah, so 175th from Oak Ridge to Wheeler, and I don't have a good exhibit in this document, but it is effectively the same agreement. The only difference in this one is the developer is going to construct the road as one section from one side to the other. We are going to credit that and or reimburse that when it's completed, inspected, and passed and approved and accepted into our road infrastructure. So on this one, the impact fees may lag a little bit, but we have cash on hand and have budgeted for building this road, which will create that connectivity, and I'll show you on the map.
So rather than a piece of the road to the west side, this is the entire east connection?
Yes, correct. I don't know where I'm at, there's one there too, there we go. And you can see the right-of-way for this piece, which is the Birch-Dalton portion, has largely been parceled out. It is still owned by the investment group. It is currently out to bid to build this road from here to where it ties in over here by Rickers. As you know, we've got some shops in Crew Car Wash getting ready to start. The previous agreement was this road on at Dartown. There's some complications associated with the stream and getting across it, which is why they're not building that all right away.
so the east terminus of this road will border to the north of the Grindstone Charlie's that's just beginning construction, correct?
And there's heavy interest in this corner as well, which is why the developer is choosing to build it all at one time as opposed to sectioning it out. So,
Okay. Question, discussion? Hearing none, entertain a motion.
So move.
Second?
I have a motion made and seconded to approve action item number 4, the Trails Road Impact Fee. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Action item number 5, WSP USA for 161st and Spring Mill Roundabout contract.
We're looking to construct a roundabout at 161st and Spring Mill. This is a task order on our on-call contract with WSP to provide right-of-way services for 3 parcels totaling $42,285. And it's task order 17 on a long on-call that we've been happy with WSP on for a long time.
so essentially we're just asking for approval for permission to enter into, it's not a contract, but it's an agreement for an additional task on an on-call services contract.
So they cover appraisal, buying, all the stuff that goes into negotiating right-of-way acquisition.
Discussion?
There is not a firm date on this
No, I think-
construction.
I
Is
think
that
that the
correct?
plan was to look at right away, or actually the road impact fee credits coming into the southwest and looking to construct that with local dollars.
Okay.
We have a development on the southwest corner there anticipated.
So is it designed?
Yep, we have, so we are through PFC right now. It's not completely designed, but right away it's set to the point where
Okay.
we can give WSP the go-ahead to
Okay,
start
so
the
when
process.
construction money becomes available
We'll wanna
from
have-
development, we'll be ready to go?
Yeah,
Wow.
shelf-ready plans.
Will it be directly in the middle? Will it impact all 4 parcels?
No, we're gonna shift that to the, what was it,
Yeah.
Michael, to the west?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So those 2 primarily?
correct.
Okay.
I will move to accept the contract with WSP.
Second?
A motion made and seconded to approve action item number 5, WSP USA for 161 Spring Mill Roundabout contract. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Sorry. Got too quick.
Do that again?
Motion carries. On to action item number 6. 151st Street Culvert Replacement Intersection Site Distance Improvement. That's a lot of words.
Yeah, so this is a culvert replacement as well. This is a change order from our consultant. Unfortunately, when this project was scoped by the city, we omitted utility coordination and 401, 404 permitting that should have gone into that contract. It did not. We should have known that we needed to pay for this regardless. And this is a supplemental from the consultant to cover that additional work.
So we typically pay, I mean, that's
Correct,
it would be
yeah.
scope, okay.
I reviewed the fees. They are in line with what you'd expect to pay from the beginning.
And this is a federally funded project that requires those things. I'm not certain why we didn't. I don't know who was in charge back then, but I don't
It's
know.
a project manager who is no longer with the
jeez.
organization. I'll say that.
So where is this?
151st and,
Yeah, this is 151st Street,
Way out west?
just way out west, yeah.
Okay.
It's actually just to the west of town.
Oh,
So
that-
it's right there between town and Shelbourne where that stream intersects.
That beautiful
Oh, right,
Right.
yeah, sorry.
piece, that is the ugliest roadway in your whole system.
It is, but this is the first step in making it better.
That's a good response.
should be direct.
Sounds like he's done this before, right?
That is probably the only roadway in this whole town that needs redone.
It definitely needs some attention.
Make a motion to approve action item number 6, 151st Street Culvert Replacement Intersection Site Distance Improvements.
Second?
A motion made and seconded to approve action item number 6. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Action item number 7, Kinsey Avenue Culvert Replacement.
Very similar situation. This is a culvert replacement with the same consultant. Utility coordination was not included in the original scope of this contract and should have been. Again, I've reviewed the fees. They're in line with what you would expect to pay. Additionally, NDOT came out with a design memo, Memo 1801, which requires LPAs to put together a pavement design report. That was something that we could not have known about when this project was scoped. There's another $1,000 in there, I think, for that work, for a total of $15,000.
So, where that requirement wasn't in effect when we let this project?
When we had this consultant under contract, that pavement design, that LPA request, was not a policy that NDOT had. In February of this year, that design memo came out, and periodically NDOT releases design memos. Sometimes they're effective immediately, sometimes they're effective at the start of the next year, but essentially we have to abide by those design memos. So there was an extra $1,800 in this.
Does NDOT want to pay it?
I can certainly ask, but I don't know. They may ask about State Road 32 too, so who knows?
Move to approve.
I'll second that.
It was for about 8 hours of work. It was what you'd expect a report from a consultant to be.
All right. Have a motion made and seconded to approve action item number 7, Kinsey Avenue culvert replacement. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carried. Action item number 8, Westfield Park Road culvert replacement.
This is also a culvert project. As part of this project, we are required to do a hydraulic model submitted to DNR. Williams Creek Consulting is doing that work for us. We provided Williams Creek with the most updated DNR model at the beginning, and Williams Creek's fee reflected that model. In the meantime, along Grassy Branch, DNR has been updating their model and has required Williams Creek to go back and merge in those new revisions to the Grassy Branch hydraulic model in HECRAS software. Williams Creek, to their credit, did the first revision without asking for a supplemental, and then DNR came back and required yet another revision based on a new feature that they added. So Williams Creek did ask for an additional $5,800 to make the model DNR compliant. It's something that we need to have for this project to move forward, and the fee is in line with what one would expect from a hydraulic modeling capacity.
I thought President Trump asked us to cut back on regulations.
I believe he did.
Yeah.
It hasn't trickled down to DNR yet, apparently.
Right behind the economics.
Sure.
Entertain a motion.
Make a motion to approve action item number 8, Westfield Park Road culvert replacement.
Second.
Have a motion made and seconded to approve action item number 8, Westfield Park Road culvert replacement. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Action item number 9, agreement Carmel Fishers, Noblesville and Westfield joint hiring process.
This is essentially the same agreement, save one change that came out of the request that we had in terms of where people go to sign up. And so we have what I want to say is we're scheduled to do the testing process January 26th. So this is the same agreement you guys have had over the last, I don't know, 2 or 3 times, other than under section 2, the NeoGov piece. Everything used to run through, like, everyone would go to Carmel's website, and I raised a bitch about that and just said, how about we go to a neutral website? So they've set up the NeoGov piece so that people will come and sign up through our portal as well.
Okay. It's a good thing?
Yeah,
Okay.
yes.
Any discussion?
Brian, just for information, what's the difference between this and an interlocal?
I don't know, when I got this, I looked at it, and it's not an interlocal. This is just a contractual agreement, pretty much like landscaping or anything else, whereas a interlocal would be more focused on a governmental function that'd be shared between governmental entities. So a distinction without a difference. But the process for approval is different. And it
Okay.
can be approved at this body.
Very good. I'll move to, I'll move to accept this agreement.
Okay.
Second.
Have a motion made, seconded to approve action item number 9, agreement Carmel Fishers, Noblesville, Westfield joint hiring process. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
I have a signature sheet, so don't go
Okay.
after this meeting.
Anyone require any explanation on the consent agenda? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion.
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda as listed.
Second?
Have a motion made, seconded to approve the consent agenda as listed. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. On to department reports. Chief Reed.
Can I grab that?
No keyboard too?
No.
changed it up just a little bit in terms of stuff. So we're just taking a look at overall incidents and we're in comparison to the previous year. This is the
Good.
first one. So then we broke them out into fire and EMS, same thing. So we're on track to be a little bit over. We ran just over 3,100 last year. We're on track to be a little bit over that, which is typical. Current year, previous year, runs per station. Grand Park one. So this is kind of a year-to-date total on all of our incidents in terms of how that all breaks out. False alarms, I think we broke those out too, Mayor. Down here we broke those out into alarm data, so you can see how many essentially we're running for our 2018 residential alarms, and then down here would be our commercial alarms. Again, our care facility pieces. The blues for the month, gold is year to date, and then gray is last year. So you can see we're pretty much on track to meet next year. I think one of the pieces that we are working on in these is I'm not totally familiar with these folks do use a lot of our resource and a lot of time. And I know they also, they get significant tax breaks in terms of how that whole process. I know Todd sat down and kind of walked me
Yes,
through
they do.
some of that stuff. And so I think, I don't know what the long-term strategy would be, but these things, because not only do they get the break when they build it, but as an example, I want to say Copper Trace just is adding on, so they're adding on another addition, another 50 or 75 beds
So do we-
on top of that.
Go ahead.
When you say they get breaks, it's because many of them declare themselves as nonprofits.
Exactly.
It's not that we give them voluntarily. We just had one of these right after it opened,
Yeah.
declared themselves to be a nonprofit.
So do we have a disproportionate number of these facilities in a community our size, or is this typical?
No, actually, I got Chief. The ones that these are, I don't know that would be disproportionate. I guess I don't know the answer to that.
I'd be
On a
interested
per capita
in.
basis.
I don't
I
think
couldn't
so.
answer that. I don't think so.
10 years ago, we had one.
Right.
Two.
So-
Sanders Glen and that place up on the north side. But don't we receive a substantial amount of Medicare reimbursement on these or not?
We don't get Medicare reimbursement on it, but these are generally Medicare patients. We probably get reimbursed a portion of our ambulance bill, right? So in terms of what we charge, we're probably going to get back roughly, I'm just going to be roughly maybe a third of what we actually bill out on some of this stuff. Just depends. Just depends on the on the incident and the call, that kind of thing. But these are a significant. They take up a lot of time, and so we have some strategies that we're building in terms of how we can spend some time with them. I think really a lot of it is training and communication. In terms of getting the right resource there. There's a lot of times they dial 911 where they really don't need to. And I think we need to, there are other ways we can kind of help them work through that process. But anyway, it's
Well, good.
significant. It's a
Yeah.
significant impact.
I
So,
see those dispatches
Yeah.
every day. Most of them are falls, which I
Yeah,
don't
falls,
understand fully, but the other piece you're looking at is our high amount of false alarms. We've been
Right.
talking a lot about that, so yeah, I'm glad to see you looking at this stuff, because now one or two of those, even though they're nonprofits, where they are paying a payment in lieu of taxes.
right.
Yeah, it's something to
Well,
definitely
the
take a
other thing
look
we're
at.
doing is we're working with Leanne and GIS to kind of map out some of this in terms of like what a call costs. right? We're gonna be able to map out these
Yeah.
different types of things.
And those
So,
figures-
Yeah, I just gonna say that, and so we're, you know, at some point you begin to see how much resource you send there, and there's a
There's a
significant
lot,
cost to
but
that.
part of this also is a function of how many beds do they have?
Correct,
If
yes.
these are,
The rule of thumb is
One or-
however many beds is how many times you're gonna go there during the year. So if it's a 300-bed facility, you can guesstimate
Yeah,
that you're gonna go.
and I have no
300 times
idea
a year.
how many beds each one of these places have, so that helps put these, would help put those
We'll
into
work on that
perspective.
one for you. Give you a bed count. And then this is mutual aid. We're still working on trying to get you the year-to-date, so we can take a look at that. We pretty much just, this number is, what you'll see is over time is that this number is in line. Like in August, it looks like we actually gave out more than we got. But in fact, when it comes to the total of the year end, we watch this really carefully. Basically look at it every quarter and make sure that we're just not out of balance. So the issue is for us in terms of ambulance stuff is at some point, if we're not getting enough, if they're coming into our area more than there, then that's revenue that they generate that we lose. So you gotta pay attention to that.
So automatic aid, is that like Grace Church?
No, the automatic aid is a set response. So if we have a structure fire currently in Westfield, that's gonna get you a certain amount of engines and a certain amount of truck companies, a certain amount of medic units, battalion chief, all of that. That automatically gets dispatched, right? So there's no, mutual aid is something that you would request after the fact.
Okay.
And then, let's see what I'm gonna say, yeah, automatically given received. That's it. That's all I got. Oh, actually, I don't. I have notable achievements. I forgot to put this in. So Abby and Tyler are just about ready to leave, finish up their paramedic program through St. Francis. It's quite an achievement. It's spent a lot of time. It's been over a year, nearly a 2-year program that they've been in. This November they'll be done with it. And that just kind of gives you a little bit of how much time they spend in terms of classrooms, some of the areas that they have to be educated in, and then really the clinical work, all that stuff that you spend time in the ICUs, CCUs, and burn units. Anyway, so notable achievement by those folks.
Nice.
All right. Anything from Chief Reed? Thank you. Chief Rush?
Yeah, this will be a little redundant for some of you guys who are at the all-employee meeting. But, so where we're at with our last hires, so we've hired 4 since May. So Jeremy Thomas is on days B, all on his own, single car now. Clayton Wiley is on days A, all single car, out of all the training, so he's good to go. We've hired Devin Cornwell and Tyler Mitchell. Devin is the one that came from Seymour. He's in week 2 of his 8-week FTO training. Tyler Mitchell, he was the Marine. He didn't have any police experience, so he'll go to the Law Enforcement Academy in October 8th, and he'll spend, I don't know, it's like 12, 14 weeks now. At least track changes every year, it seems like. So when he gets back from Law Enforcement Academy, he'll go to FTO, which will be about 12 weeks for him since he's not, had any experience on the street. So, long story short, we'll see him next year sometime. So, school resource officers. Right now, Matt Ford and Anwar will be going to SRO school on October 15th. Once they get out of there, Matt will go directly to the intermediate school. And then Anwar will go to dog training. And his dog will receive explosive detection training for 3 weeks. And then he'll be scheduled to the high school. So at that point, we'll have 2 people in the high school for a while. We'll have one in the middle school, one in the intermediate, and then with our substation program, we pretty much covered the elementary schools, so I feel pretty good about that. moving forward, I imagine that Matt will move, when Kim leaves, Matt will move into the high school. Another thing of note, Eli Stubbs is, he's currently at K-9 school for our next narcotic tracking dog. His name right now is Coco. He hasn't changed it yet. I don't know if that'll change or not, but it actually is I might be wrong on this. I was thinking like an English setter. So it's a hunting dog. You know, if you look at it, you think, oh, hunting dog. But it's supposed to be really, really smart, and it's young. So we're looking forward to getting him back. He'll be back October 1st, and he'll go to late shift with that dog. We're currently in the middle of our pre-app of our next hiring process. So we're slow rolling that, trying to get national interest. And right now we're probably hovering somewhere underneath 100 pre-apps. We're hoping to get a little bit more than that. And then we'll start that process here towards the latter part of the year, because we need 6 next year. We need 3 replacements for retirees, and we need 3 additional officers that we're going to hire. Probably spread them out throughout the year. We'll probably do 2 and 2 throughout the year, so we'll be coming to this board quite a bit next year. Other than that, that's about it.
Questions?
Wonderful.
for Chief Rush? The explosive detection dog, other than set explosives, would it be something you could detect like if there was a handgun with
Yes.
ammunition that would smell the powder?
Yep.
Okay.
So that dog will be planted probably at the main lobby of the school every day, greeting the kids as they come in. It'll be, a dog you can touch. It won't be a vicious dog by any means. And then the reward for that dog is not only it'll be in the schools, but it'll be at all our events, and it'll be at Colts Camp in the summer. So
Nice.
yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Public Works.
Yes, so we've got we're wrapping up Monon 7. Should be a ribbon cutting coming up in a couple weeks, so mid-October.
Do you have a date for that yet or time?
We
October
do.
16th at 10:30, I'll email you all.
That'd be great. Thank you, ma'am.
I believe it's October 16th at 10:30. Then shortly following that, a week or two following that, we'll have the groundbreaking for the Monon Bridge, so Monon Section 5. Also, in the past weeks, we've had our consultant engineers for our design project for State Road 32 improvements, which is a partnership with NDOT. We have selected or starting negotiations with Structure Point as the chosen firm. There were 4 scores. NDOT scored 2. We scored 2. John and the mayor scored and sat in on those interviews, and Structure Point rose to the top. So we will start those negotiations, and that contract will be coming back to you all, assuming all is well at the next Board of Public Works. So other than that, we're gearing up for winter, sadly. So
Yes.
parks will start closing. Splash Park closes this week or weekend, and you'll start seeing snowplows and things like that getting ready to go, and it'll be cold before you know it. Yeah, so that's all we've got.
Anything for Jeremy? All right, if there's no further business, entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved?
Second.
Motion made and seconded to adjourn the meeting. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Meeting closed. Meeting closed. Meeting closed. Meeting closed.